Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Shout out to my newest patrons, Avery W. and John K. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. So I'm sure you've all seen it by now. All I really want to add is that I don't think it's a coincidence that it happened after over 58,000 people signed that petition. Even Elon said thanks, this made a difference. However, Elon is not quite satisfied, and he shouldn't be, but Biden tweeted China has been leading the EV race, but that's about to change. To which Elon responded just saying Tesla and sharing an Inside EV article that explained how Tesla was the global leader in EV sales for 2021. On Reddit, it's been reported that the Model Y in the United States has a heated wiper. You can see the icon right here, and this is a US vehicle picked up at the Fremont factory on January 15th. This was from an order placed in August of 2021. And with update 4.5, some users are getting the colorizer that we've seen out of videos from Shanghai, where you can change the color of your Tesla vehicle. And more importantly, the driver profile and the save dash cam clips have been restored to the top of the UI. This seemingly insignificant article about Ford cutting $1,000 in cost from the Mach-E is actually so profound because it highlights this drumbeat that, for anybody that's paying attention, shows how these other automakers are slowly starting to realize if they don't copy Tesla, they are ultimately going to suffer and potentially ultimately die. Ford has created a task force with the main directive to no longer wait to find efficiencies and implement changes only during mid-cycle updates or model year changeovers. He said, "Gone, stop that, take that away. We now do continuous improvement. You don't wait for a model year, you just continually drop them in." The senior team would come over to the task force, walk the room with them, and give agreements and immediate approval. We'd approve it there and then and go straight to production. It's not a process we've ever used before. And here's the slight cover up. He said Ford wasn't able to achieve these kinds of savings in the past because it didn't have this level of insight with connected data, and that working on new types of products such as the Mach-E has prompted new ways of thinking. And while that may be partially true, I would argue it's mostly because of the presence and success of Tesla that is forcing them into this new way of thinking. So this recent video from Galley's podcast with Holmars is getting a lot of negative attention. Here's the clip if you missed it, and then we'll break it down.
But now, with the software update, you can actually make thousands of people drive safer just with a software update overnight.
Wow, that's actually,
yeah,
that's actually healthy. Are we gonna have to cut that?
First, it's impossible to know for sure, had Galley not intervened, if the Tesla would have continued and actually hit the cyclist, or the car would have ultimately stopped. 2, we always need to be reminded there's a reason this is still a beta and this has not been released to a wider audience. It's crucially important for the FSD beta testers to be hyper aware and vigilant to avoid potential accidents. There is immense responsibility for FSD beta testers. 3, as I've said for months now, the sensationalism around FSD and any potential issues, any areas where it's not perfect, they're going to be blown out of proportion and it will continue to get worse. The Tesla community needs to do a good job of explaining things, like the fact that ultimately this technology should end up saving millions of lives. And sure, Holmars chuckling and Galley asking if we should cut this are not great looks. However, just focusing on what the car did, it did have an audible alert, as it should, and this is all part of the learning process, whether you like it or not. And last and most important, there have still been no injuries and no accidents with the FSD beta. And apparently it's not just Biden from the government who is getting in on the Tesla action.
You know, we just played that clip from President Biden actually giving a shout out to Tesla, but that has been something that's been missing for quite a while. Tesla hasn't been invited to these White House meetings, and Elon Musk isn't really somebody who's been heralded. And the reporting has said that, you know, this is happening because the administration doesn't like Tesla because they're seen as anti-union. Made in America, does that mean union only, or made in America, is it good as long as it's providing good jobs for people here in this country?
Look, as you know, the president strongly believes in every worker having the free choice to join a union. We believe in good paying jobs, and we believe that unions built the middle class. We also admire the range of American companies that have innovated, including Tesla, which did so much to make EVs possible in America. Now it's mainstream. Earlier on, at a time, by the way, of course, when U.S. policy with tax credits was supporting companies like Tesla, that wasn't viewed as such a sure bet. Now we see some of the most iconic, some would have said old school names in auto manufacturing out of Detroit, right there alongside companies out of Silicon Valley, all of them in very different ways, helping move America toward this goal. We need to make sure that we have all of the different parts of American industry and of the American workforce attuned to this goal, because this is the future. Again, there's no question whether autos are headed electric. The question is, will we get there in time?
From Jeff on Twitter, in less than 2 years, the Model Y has become the second best-selling vehicle in the state of California, very closely trailing the Toyota Camry. AP News reported a team from Elon's SpaceX company was in Fiji establishing a station that would help reconnect Tonga through SpaceX satellites. Toyota yet again cuts full-year sales and production outlook as profits plunge. Toyota cut its global consolidated sales forecast to 8.25 million vehicles for the current fiscal year ending March 31st from an earlier outlook of 8.55 million. Toyota said it could lose up to 480,000 vehicles of output from January through March, and they said, "We don't think this imbalance between microchip demand and supply will improve anytime soon." And they continued, "The rate of increase in raw material prices is unprecedented, and we don't think these high prices will come down in the next fiscal year. We think this is a serious problem." For the most recent quarter, Toyota's operating profit margin was 10%. For 2021, Tesla's was 14.7%, while Tesla delivered under 1 million vehicles, and Toyota is delivering over 8 million vehicles, highlighting Tesla's insane efficiency. And Toyota's real problem is not just high prices, but it's Tesla crushing the game. Schools in Michigan now have clean drinking water thanks to Elon. This for the first time since 2016. The school will no longer have to supply students with bottled water, something which it has done on a daily basis for the past 6 years. And if you missed it, these hydration stations were made possible through $480,000 donated by the Elon Musk Foundation. An unfortunate update on Giga Berlin from Tobias. Update on the permit. The permit will not come in the next days, but the authorities are now working on the actual permit document, which will have several hundred pages. Before production, Tesla has to provide evidence that everything is built correctly. That might take a few weeks. People were asking what have they been working on before? Before, they had to make sure that all plans, which are thousands of pages, are according to laws and don't harm the environment. And to make sure, they had to get statements from other authorities and expert opinions, which also required more information from Tesla and so on. So only now are they writing the permit. That's not what they've done the last 2 years. The last 2 years, they've been working through more than 10,000 pages of application documents. However, to wrap it all up with some good news, the news that they are writing on the actual permit document is very good news. So it sounds like ultimate Giga Berlin approval anytime in March would be a win from here. NHTSA released more information on the heat pump recall situation. Simply put, some software problems may result in an unintended valve opening event. This may trap refrigerant inside the evaporator and may deplete the refrigerant from the active components in the system. This depletion may result in fail-safe compressor stoppage and cause less of cabin heating, particularly in temperatures -10 degrees Celsius or colder. And the status of the solution, firmware release 30.7 and later releases remedy the condition by reintroducing a software command to close the EXV, thereby preventing refrigerant from entering the evaporator. No further action is needed from owners whose vehicles are equipped with firmware 30.7 or later. CNN did an article on Elon's Roadster being out in space, coming up on 4 years now since it was launched, and I just wanted to show you over the past 4 years the Roadster has traveled nearly 2 billion miles, and I was tempted to use this in the title today, a 2 billion mile Tesla, but I won't do it. Trip Chowdhury continues to be one of the bigger Tesla bulls with a $1,500 price target, saying after his latest round of factory checks done on February 8th, Chowdhury noted production, shipping, and delivery momentum is extremely solid and said delivery activity in the first quarter 2022 is much stronger than fourth quarter 2021. How is that possible? I'm not sure, but we'll go with it. He noted sequentially Model S Plaid deliveries are up about 15%. The analyst provided a picture of a shipping truck that had 4 Model S Plaid on it. Last month they saw about 2 to 3 SNX Plaid per shipping truck. Tesla shared a new video on LinkedIn of some behind the scenes footage of the Giga Berlin paint shop. You have to love old clips like this.
Okay, so that guy, he's short your shares. So talk to Dave Meyer. You tell him why he's wrong.
Dude, it's gonna sting. That's all I can tell you.
Have a quick listen to Franz on the latest on the Roadster development.
Let's talk about the Roadster, which is a very exciting car. Where are we at? What's going on?
Yeah.
Catch us up to date on the Roadster.
I mean, we're working on the Roadster. I wish it was, we were working faster, but I have to also say that in the time that we've been developing it, we've also been learning a lot. Like Plaid is a great learning platform that all those experiences will, make its way back into a much better Roadster than had we launched, right after when we debuted it. Just continuous improvement on that. It'll be an amazing, exciting flying machine with the SpaceX package. So, yeah, stay tuned. But it can't come fast enough for no products can come fast enough from us for the public. But rest assured, we're working on it feverishly.
Some unfortunate news for SpaceX from the most recent satellite deployment attempt. Up to 40 of the satellites will re-enter or already have re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. The deorbiting satellites pose zero collision risk with other satellites and by design demise upon atmospheric re-entry, meaning no orbital debris is created and no satellite parts hit the ground. What caused this? A geomagnetic storm. What in the world is that, you ask? Well, they occur when intense solar wind near Earth spawns shifting currents and plasmas in the Earth's magnetosphere. This interaction can warm the Earth's upper atmosphere and increase atmospheric density high enough above the planet to affect satellites in low orbits like SpaceX's new Starlink craft. So whether you want to argue this was SpaceX's fault for continuing with the launch or just unfortunate timing, either way, this will probably be between a $5 to $10 million loss for SpaceX, as roughly each satellite costs around $200,000. And everybody was up in arms about a chime in a Tesla not working in the rarest of circumstances, when now we have Hyundai and Kia telling owners of 500,000 vehicles to park outside due to a fire risk. This is from a possible defect that can cause the vehicles to spontaneously catch fire even when not running. This is due to foreign contaminants, and the anti-lock brake computer control module can possibly short circuit. The problem here is that you don't see anybody up in arms over this issue. That'll do it for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.